Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Access All Agents, your opportunity to get a backstage pass to the Newcastle real estate industry. And right now we have gun agent Lisa Borstel from Raine Horne Belmont. Lisa, thanks for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Craig. It's such an honour to be invited on here.
Oh, you're too kind, Lisa. You live and work in such a lovely neck of the woods, Belmont. Tell us a little bit about living on Lake Macquarie.
Oh, absolutely love it. As I tell everyone that is looking to buy in the area, I'm completely biased. I love the lake. I'm fortunate enough to live and work in Belmont, and I live only a street back from the water, so it's a beautiful, beautiful part of the world. Great coffee culture, restaurants. Yeah, it's a very, very privileged place to live.
Oh, it sure is. I've done a couple of renovations for houses out there, flips, and we've sold them. And when we're working on them to do the renovations, geez, we had a lot of fun out there. So tranquil. The community is so accepting. It's just a nice bunch of people in a nice bunch of place.
Yeah,
Takes
and
me
we've got
back
a lot to. Sorry, Craig.
You go, Lisa. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've got a lot to offer. We've got the lake, we've got the beach, and it is still a little bit sleepy, so it's good.
That's the word I was looking for. It does have that sort of Summer Bay feel to it in a way, doesn't it?
It definitely does, yes. Hopefully that doesn't change too much. The secret's out. So there's lots of people relocating from out of the area, which is great.
I was going to touch on that point, Lisa, because when you say people locating from out of the area, I remember because it forms the southern part of Newcastle, a lot of people were moving up from Sydney or inquiring from Sydney, for the houses that we sold, maybe as an investment for now, but maybe to move into the future. But I guess with the whole thing around the coronavirus and people sort of getting their head around the fact that they don't have to live to work in the big cities, they can live anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you seen an increase in buyer behaviour, inquiry from the big cities?
Yeah, we definitely have. I mean, I've noticed an increase even in the last couple of years. There's been a lot of more and more people from Sydney, Canberra. We've got a couple of sales going through at the moment, even people from Mudgee. But I think there'll be even more of that now that after the coronavirus, people realising that they can work from home, they don't have to commute to Sydney as much. And I think we'll see a lot more of that in our area. Particularly it's easy access to the M1 to Sydney, easy access to Newcastle. It's really quite a great spot to live.
Yeah, I do agree, Lisa, in regards to easy access to Sydney. I live in Merriweather, which is on the beach in Newcastle, but often as I've driven to Sydney, I'm thinking, geez, I could cut off an easy 30 minutes off my drive by living around the lake, and there's so much value there, especially for like that strip that has the beach on one side and then you're backed by Lake Macquarie on the other. If you're a water sports enthusiast, it's heaven, isn't it?
It is. You can hop on easy access onto the beach for beach fishing. You've got boat ramps, quite a lot of boat ramps if people are wanting to go out there and do some fishing on the lake or to the beach as well. So it's a really, really good area.
So you mentioned you've had some buyer inquiry from far-flung areas, including Mudgee.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what sort of properties these out-of-towners are looking at, the suburbs and the price points, Lisa.
Yeah, it's been a real variety. So we've sold to some people out of area at the moment, down in Cams Wharf. So we've got some properties that obviously we sell in that area as well. Just recently had a transaction go through in Pelican, which is another beautiful spot. So that's quite close to the beach, very easy access to the lake, has a boat ramp, nice and flat. So a lot of people like these flat areas where it's an easy push bike ride to the beach or the lake, or a walk, and cafes and restaurants popping up in all of these areas as well. So, you know, those price points, they're varied anywhere from like the low fours up into the mid sevens at the moment for those types of buyers. You know, last year we even sold a couple of properties up in the 9 and the million that were Sydney buyers. So it's quite a diverse range. They might be looking at something as an investment with like a 5-year plan to possibly live in down the track. Could be purely investment, or they're looking for their forever home here in a quieter pace of life rather than Sydney.
Yeah, I think that people who haven't been to Lake Macquarie and the Belmont area don't really understand the value for money that you're getting from even a $1 million house. We're talking like, you know, a stone's throw to the lake, literally, or the beach.
Yeah,
and when you say flat, it is very, very flat.
It is very, very flat, exactly. And then you've got, you know, great like Fernley track, and you've got Greenpoint track. So there's really a lot to offer in the area, which links us up to, you know, the Newcastle area as well, which is great.
Yeah, you're like 15, 20 minutes away from the CBD.
Yeah, it's not far at all.
Yeah, but what I like about that area is that you can avoid all the traffic and zip down the M1 down to Central Coast or Sydney quite quickly.
Yeah, it's quite an easy drive to the Central Coast. Like parts of the Central Coast, we've got a couple of properties at the moment in Glendalough that's 16 minutes from Belmont, just to sit down there and do a quick inspection. So it's very handy.
I used to live in Glendalough myself, Lisa,
so
I know the area quite well. And once again, you know, you're so close to the water, fishing, the boat ramps. You know, it's a great. And I remember when I was living there, driving back from Sydney was almost like halfway stop because
so the Central Coast, you get a lot of people will move there. It's quite a transient area because they'll buy in the Central Coast because it just cuts down their commute as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we'll probably see a little bit more of that as, you know, as time unfolds now on the back of the whole coronavirus.
I agree with you there.
If I'm, you know, looking to buy, maybe I'm from out of town or even local, I might be living out, you know, Maitland or somewhere out west. I want to get close to the water, which really Lake Macquarie is a water wonderland, isn't it?
It is. It's a great description for it, Craig.
So what are some of the opportunities we have in your area, say maybe for the first home buyers moving through to, say, a professional who may want to relocate from Sydney?
Yeah, so properties that we've got available at the moment.
Yeah, and price points, like, you know, I really see value for money at this particular area, you know. So if I'm a savvy investor, you know, where would I sort of park my money? Where would I invest right now if I wanted to take advantage of the market as it is?
Yeah, well, I mean, at the moment we're probably suffering from a shortage of properties on the market, which is, you know, due to the virus. But for a savvy investor, I think some good areas to look at purchasing anywhere around water, so around the lake, close to the beach. There are always going to be areas that are going to grow as the market grows. They're areas that are going to have more growth in them as opposed to the further away from water. So areas like Belmont South, Pelican, Blacksmiths, Marks Point, they're really, really good areas in terms of growth close to the beach and the lake. And you've got other areas, you know, like Floraville, Belmont North and Jules. They're a little bit further away from the lake, but then you've got them quite close to Redhead Beach. There's some beach access there as well. So we sell quite a lot of properties in Jules. People might start out looking to purchase in Redhead and realise that they can get a lot more value for money in an area like Jules as opposed to what your entry level is into Redhead. But Redhead's an area that we've just sold an original cottage there. It sold quite quickly, right when back in early April when this all hit with the virus. We had a lot of interest in it purely because it was Redhead. So that's always a good area for the savvy buyer, but you're just paying a little bit more for entry level in.
Yeah, I mean, Redhead is definitely one of those areas where, 20 years ago, if you told people what houses would be selling for now, they wouldn't believe you.
Yeah, I
And
know.
it's a very close knit community, right on the water, a fantastic
It
beach,
is.
great lifestyle, easy access to the Fernley. It ticks a lot of boxes, but
It does,
you
yeah.
you kind of, that's factored into people's selling price. But you made that analysis that about Jules, which is, it's the next suburb over. It's
It
like,
is, yes, yes.
it's just there. And I've always felt, Lisa, that Jules has been, I guess, an undervalued area because of the there's some fat houses there, some big family homes,
There's
some
some
very.
beautiful homes, yeah.
So tell us about something that you may have on the market now in Jules, or that you've recently sold, to give our listeners a little bit of an idea of just the bang for buck that you're getting from just the next
Yeah.
suburb over.
Yeah, so we sold one recently in Matthew Avenue, Jules. It was a single level, 4 bedroom, 1 bathroom, double garage and carport home, reasonably flat block with a swimming pool. Matthew Avenue is quite close to Julestown Shopping Plaza and the tavern there, which is quite a good feed if you ever want to in the area, a good kids play area. And that property sold in the early 600s. So
Wow.
it was quite good value. It needed some internal renovations, like it was in good condition, but people were wanting to possibly update, which the new purchasers were planning to, but very good value. As opposed to, as in Redhead, that price point will get you an original cottage on a small block. So
Yeah.
it's good. It's good value.
The red house with the blue roof type thing on
Yeah.
350 square meters.
Yeah, that's exactly right. 100 years old with never a renovation done on it will cost you in that sort of early to mid sixes.
But having said that, still, for somebody moving up from Sydney who may be living out west and have just sold their house for around the $1.5 million mark, they've got more than enough to come and
Exactly. Yeah.
bring up the boat, bring the caravan, and they could decide to live, in Redhead itself, or go right next door to Jules. And Jules was, when they started building their houses there, they were quality builds. They weren't like skimping on cost, were they?
No, not at all. A lot of them, are, good, big, solid homes. There's some weatherboard homes there as well, but there's a lot of quite big homes, 4 bedroom, 5 bedroom, multiple living areas. You'll even find the occasional house in Jules that's got a nice view if they've got the elevation. And the public school there is very popular. So that's a very big selling point as well.
Yeah, it is a great school there, Jules
Yeah.
Public School. So, Lisa, what about if I'm an investor and I've got maybe $500,000, or a first home buyer, and I want to get into the market anywhere around the lake where you work? Where should I be looking for that?
You can pick up properties in central Belmont. You still can get sometimes a property in central Belmont on the flat, close to the water, close to the shops, cafes and restaurants in that early 500. Also Belmont South, you can pick up some good little finds there as well, which you've got some beach access, which Beach Street, at the end of Beach Street, there's beach access at Belmont South, Tingara Heights, Floraville, Belmont North. You can pick up some good buys in that early fives as well.
Yeah, well, I think the key takeaways for today, Lisa, is in this market, look for properties that are near the water. The closer the better,
Yes.
because they're
Yes.
always going to go up higher than surrounding houses or surrounding streets, right?
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's the lifestyle people are looking for, close to the water, close to shops, walking distance to cafes, restaurants, good schools. They're always a good point to look for when you're looking to invest or purchase.
Yep, and the little suburb, which we both feel is probably gives a lot of bang for buck, would be Jules.
Jules, yes, Jules is definitely ticks a lot of boxes there. Yes.
So there's enough there for the first home buyer investor, and you've also got, if you're looking to relocate your family from Sydney and just want to live in a really hot place, you can go to Redhead. If that's a little bit out your budget, or you don't want to spend money on a refurbishment, you can go and get yourself a lovely place in Jules for excellent value.
Yes, that's a very, very good idea.
Well, I think the next good idea, Lisa, is people can give you a call. So how do they get in contact with you?
They can give me a call on my mobile 0476 266 106. We put my email address up there as well, Craig, or you can always go to the Raine Horne Belmont website as well.
Oh yeah, no, we're running live right now, so it's there it is right in front of us, Lisa's
Yes.
number, and you can also find her in her office, well, sometimes, unless she's out on properties doing inspections at Raine Horne at Belmont, and you'll know her face now. There she is, Lisa Borstel, Raine Horne Belmont. Thanks for joining us on Access to All Agents, and bye for now.
Wonderful. Thank you, Craig.
You're welcome.